Dr. Maurice Pitesky, and welcome back to the Sitch, a bi-monthly show from the UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine Cooperative Extension. Today, we're going to talk about wound management for chickens. Before we start, I'm going to tell you all a little secret. You don't need to be a chicken veterinarian or have gone to veterinary school for 4 years to do some basic poultry first aid. You can do it yourself. That being said, if we're dealing with broken bones, puncture wounds from dog or cat bites, and or significant active bleeding, these are beyond basic, and you need to find a veterinarian who treats backyard poultry. So first things first, remember that chickens are prey animals, and there are lots of different predators out there, including, unfortunately, other chickens. So we've met the enemy, and it is us. So if you see your chickens, they got into a kerfuffle and they've got a wound, isolate the injured chicken or chickens in some type of sick pen. Remember that birds are attracted to blood. So if there is blood there, it will attract other birds who can peck at that injury, causing further injury. Brings a whole new meaning to being henpecked. So first off, the basics. If there is a wound, clean the wound well, and of course, stop any bleeding that may be going on with pressure. If there is dried or caked blood or dirt, clean and flush that area to remove the debris. As far as what to clean and flush the wound with, use either dilute soap or a very dilute betadine solution. You should barely be able to see that brownish tinge to the dilute betadine solution. If you use too much of it, it can be caustic. As far as dressings on the wound, you have two options, dressing or no dressing. So as far as using a dressing, you can try to either use sulfur sulfadiazine or SSD or manuka honey. Both of them are what we call bacteriostatic, which just means that they can help prevent bacteria from spreading throughout that wound area and the body. Don't use the SSD near the eyes. The only problem with the SSD and the honey is that they're really sticky. They're kind of, the SSD is an ointment, and the honey is obviously similar to an ointment. And chickens attract dirt by dust bathing and by basically being chickens. So if you use that SSD or the manuka honey on the wound, you need to make sure that there's a bandage on it, and you need to change that bandage and that ointment daily. As far as the bandaging, most important thing is to use something that is non-adhesive and doesn't stick to the skin. I really like a product called Tegaderm, which you can get at most pharmacies over the counter. Alternatively, you can clean the wound 2 to 3 times a day and skip the SSD or honey with the goal of keeping the wound clean and dry. Regardless of what you do, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be messy. So do the best you can and don't make perfect the enemy of good. If the chicken is irritating the wound beyond what you consider reasonable, there are the equivalent of e-collars to prevent birds from pecking at their wounds. Personally, for me, I'm a less is more type of guy. So I really like for wound management, especially in birds, for these small wounds, I don't like putting any dressing on at all. Just keeping it clean, flushing it, keeping it nice and dry and clean. So I hope this was helpful. And as always, if there are any topics you would like covered on the Sitch, please reach out to Dr. Pluck at ucdavis.edu. Thanks. Bye.